Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. I want to give you a pool update because it's been a few months since I actually did a pool video, and the reason is because it's been rainy. Oh, it's been rainy. We had so much rain and this place turned into a mud pit, especially down here in the deep end, or the shallow end, but this is where all the water was pooling. So basically what I did was I had to dig out just a little sump and put a sump pump down there, and all the water, at least the bulk of the water that collected in this pool would naturally flow down into this sump, and I would pump it out, and that helped get it dried out faster. But as you can see from the soil discoloration, right, it's still, you know, squishy, right? It's still squishy. So, but it's good enough to keep going. So I wanted to talk to you about what we did, what we've done so far, and what we're going to do. So to start, we are having the crews back out to dig and finish out the digging. Now, the original plan was to do one round of digging to excavate the hole, and then all of this right now is at basically the shallow depth of 3.5 feet, give or take. And we were gonna grade this and compact it to where it's all flat and good for the shallow depth. Then we'd set up the pool walls and figure out where the deep end is gonna be so we can mark it, and then take the walls back out and then have the equipment back out to dig out the hopper and do the final grading. So that was a planned 2 deployments of equipment. But what happened to us, I can't remember if I covered this in the last video or not, but what happened to us was we hit some groundwater or something over in the shallow end and all into here too. It just got soft and mushy, and the equipment, I mean, was bad. Like being able to get a skid steer in here to compact it, it was just too much. It was too wet. The stuff was gonna get stuck and it was gonna be a bad day. So we had to stop, which is why it looks like this, which it's not perfectly graded. It's still very rough dug out and everything. And so if we kept to our original plan, then what would happen is we have the equipment back out probably for a day to do the final grading and compacting. Then it leaves, then we set up the pool walls, then it comes back for a 3rd time. All that costs money, and money, you know, with this kind of pool, with this pool and this budget, money is not in short supply, but we're tight. So anything we can do to save has to happen. So we decided to forego the concept of putting the pool walls in, taking them out, and just try to measure it and get a rough dig without the pool walls so that we can have the equipment back out once, finish up the dig, and we're good. And then when we set the pool walls back up, we are reasonably certain that we have dug out the shelf in the right spot, you know, with the deep end in the shelf, to where when we put the pool walls up, they'll be in the right spot. So all that talking, let me show you what we did. So we basically set up and marked about half the pool walls. Or not set up the pool walls, but we measured and marked. So whenever you get these kind of kits, basically what you get is a table of measurements that will basically give you the measurements of every point to every point that you care about. So to start, you've got 4 main stakes, and you can see if I'm pointing that one right there. Nice focus, but you see I'll take my finger away and you're gonna see the stake I'm pointing at. Yeah, there we go. That stake, and then another stake right there, and then another stake over there, right? And then another stake where? Right there. 4 corners, big rectangle, that what circumscribes the freeform pool. And measure, and so from those 4 corners, we can measure to any point on the pool that we care about, and we have a table of measurements for that. And that helps us to locate those points. Incidentally, this is how GPS works, for those who don't know. Especially if you're trying to approximate location, right? You draw a line from one point to one point, and you draw a little parabola and an arc, and then you do that with multiple points, and wherever those parabolas intersect, that is your point. So geometry lessons aside, here's what we did. So we started here. Okay, there is like our first stake, and these stakes are basically panel joints. Okay, and you can kind of see the paint, orange paint on the wall, or on the wall, the orange paint on the dirt that represents the wall of kind of where the arcs are, and we kind of roughed it out. Right, so from that stake we measured to each, right, of those 4 corners all the way around, okay? And if you did it right, they should all line up. All those arcs that we drew in the dirt, we dug them out in the dirt, right? They line up. And as we went along, we got better and better to where, yeah, the first couple measurements, we drew arcs just to kind of get an idea of where we'd be. But once we had the second, third, and then fourth point, things were lining up to where the intersections of the arcs, it just kept on pointing to the exact same location. So with these stakes, we have a very high confidence that they are right on the money, right? So this is the results. We have all these stakes, and I don't know if you can see it well, it's very sunny, but you can see the stakes and the flow of the orange paint, right, all along here to show kind of the outline of the pool. So this is the deep end of where it's going to be. All right, and it's really bright, and that orange paint's kind of hard to see, but you can kind of, you get the idea. Now the concept of this is simply that where those stakes are and the orange line is, that is the front edge of the pool wall. So that means that, like, right on the inside of this line, when the excavator comes back, we're basically going to tell them, hey, start your dig here to get down to 8 foot and start digging, but don't take the line, right? Just dig to the outside of the line. And that, coupled with, or maybe what we'll even have them do is actually hold back a couple inches digging, right? And then we can, that way later on, when we set up the pool walls, if we need to fine tune with shovels to get it perfect, we can take dirt away, because it's a lot easier to take dirt away than put it back and compact it and whatnot. So that's where we're at. It's an interesting process, a little tricky to get started, but once you got going, it didn't take too long. Like, my dad helped me on this, and we had this done in, a little better than half a day, in terms of time to map all this out with a long tape measure and whatnot. So that's our strategy. Crews will be here, for me, about a week's time, week and a half, they'll be here digging out, and we'll see what happens next. But once we get dug, I'll do another video and show you that progress, and then we can start setting up the pool walls, hopefully, and get this project moving. Because it is, when we first dug this out, it was probably late February, and it is now almost the 4th of July. So if that tells you anything about timelines, we went through all the spring basically having to deal with rain. So we are now in the drought of Oklahoma summer, which is good for this kind of work. So hopefully we'll be able to get this done. So hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope it's informative. As always, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. It helps out the channel very much, and I do appreciate it. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.